So your favorite guru and influencer on the internet persuaded you that in order to win in this game of business, this online, make money online shit, you need to be charging 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 dollars from your customers. You need to be charging these enormous retainers where people are paying you a lot of money, like a shitload of money. How has that been working for you so far? I mean, you followed them on paper, everything makes sense. Like, yeah, $2,000 a month, and in just 5 months, I made 10K a month, and boom, life is going to be great. Everything. I don't know, like, it always appeared perfect to me on paper. But for some reason, it never worked out well for me. I tried to pitch these expensive retainers to all the people, and they just did not trust me enough. Even when I showed them the proof, like this was in the initial stages, but after I built up some proof, some social proof, everything, and I was showing it, bro, these are people exactly like you. I've done the same thing, which I'm promising you, for all these different people, and still, they won't believe me. They're like, yeah, it makes sense. This can benefit us. Whatever you're charging, it's less than what you're delivering for. Basically, the amount of money you're making me, it's more than what you're charging. But for some reason, things like there's just something wrong. There's just something off. And I always struggle with it. Plus, even if I finally crack the code, and by mistake, I would like to say it was a mistake because I really did not know what I was doing. If by mistake I finally freaking signed someone for a retainer, not a very expensive one like $700, $800 a month, I had this enormous imposter syndrome. I used to feel ashamed the next month asking for the payment. And my churn rate was extremely high. Sure, I made some bucks in the first month, the first time they paid. But after that, they simply did not stick. Sometimes they were not getting results, which is obviously a issue which I had at that time. I was new to the field. But a lot of the times, some random shit came in the way. Random shit. Like sometimes they had some financial issues, sometimes they did not get a payment from the client. I remember once there was a very big company in Noida and they simply did not clear the invoice because a client of theirs, they did not clear the invoice. So I don't know, maybe I'm illiterate, I'm unaware of what to do. But charging these extremely high ticket prices, it never held me. It never worked out well for me. And you can just have a gut feeling, something telling you that this is maybe not the right thing for me. And it always was against that. A lot of people fantasize about signing a client for $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 a month. And I did not even want to do it. Because I was like, if someone is paying me that money, they're gonna treat me as their fucking bitch. They're gonna treat me as a slave. I'll be their employee. Because they're paying me what they would normally pay an employee. And I'll be treated like that. They'll be extremely demanding. They'll be extremely, basically on top of my head. And I don't know about you. I have a very fragile ego, man. I cannot take shit. I refund people if they speak to me with disrespect. I just simply cannot take that. And I started to notice that all the people were telling people you should be charging these high ticket retainers, everything. But a lot of the successful companies, they were not following this advice. I mean, Loom, the thing which I'm using to record this video right now, it charges me $15 a month. And I think the founder sold it for over $100 million. I think he was an Indian guy, someone with name which starts with A or something. Not sure though. And I started to think, I don't see any fucking agency which is charging their clients like $1,500, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 a month. I don't see them being sold for $100 million. There's another company called Appointwise, which is an AI booking bot basically. Like, I don't like it a lot. It's fine, but I prefer the native AI systems which I have in my platform. I've tried both of them, but it kind of worked well. But they have around 2,000 users using them. And the plan is like $300 a month. So just do the math. Even if people are buying the cheapest plan, which is $9,700, whatever, they're still making like $200,000 every single month. literally passively, without getting on a sales call, without having any expectation, without having any crazy fucking guarantees that if you don't get XYZ result, then I'm gonna come to your house, I'm gonna pay for your fucking funeral, I'm gonna cover your insurance, I'm gonna fucking marry your daughter, and I'm gonna take care of your children as well. They're not giving out these crazy guarantees. And notice that the people who are killing it, they were following a different strategy. I come from the video game world, and there was this word called the meta, most effective tactic available. Meaning there were different ways of playing a video game. And meta was basically the best way of doing it at the current moment of time, based on everything. Like, there are a lot of environmental factors, like, let's say I was playing Valorant or Fortnite, basically video games. It might depend on a lot of factors like what gun is there, blah, blah, blah. So, environment decides what is the way, the best way to win in a particular game. And similarly, because there's a trust recession, people just don't trust you enough. Because of this trust recession, the agency space, or at least the service-based business space, in the past couple of months has changed drastically. Maybe I'm just illiterate and uneducated and I don't know how to sign like extremely high-ticket clients. I'm being really honest. Maybe that's the reality. But this is what I've been noticing. The meta, which the top players are using to win in this game, is an actually just sent a quick message on my WhatsApp community. The meta of running an agency, what I notice from the best players. And it's a very simple two-step process. You might be like, I don't want to apply it. You might be like, this is way too basic and simple. But the moment where I was stuck the most, this is what I decided to do. And it made my life better, to say the least. Like, I chose that I don't want to get on sales calls. And I can sell without calls. I chose I don't want to be delivering out like crazy fucking guarantees or some shit. And I made that a reality. I chose I do not want to deal with like 30, 40, 50% churn. I mean, I'm sure like I sign 5 clients, but 3 of them leave the next month. I don't want that. And that desire which I had, I manifested it into a reality. And this is exactly what I followed. The first one being, focus on recurring revenue. Now you might be someone like, I've heard that a lot. I'll ask you a very simple question. Do you think $200 a month is a lot of money to charge someone? Your answer is probably not. $200 a month is not a lot. I mean, sure, like I think I can actually do it. 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 maybe sounds like a lot, but 200 is pretty easy, man. Like 13, 14, 15-year-olds, they spend that money. Even I sometimes as in like you thinking of it, I also like sometimes randomly like spend it on random garbage, crap, shit, whatever. It's not a lot to persuade someone to pay me that money. Now, do you think getting 10 customers like that is going to be extremely difficult? I don't think so, Somil. I don't think so. It's going to be that freaking difficult just getting like 10 customers. Do you think you can retain 8 customers out of the 10? Do you think even if you have a 20% churn rate, meaning out of every 10 people who join, 2 of them leave every month, and you have a 20% churn, do you think you can retain 8 customers? I mean, yeah, like if I am like getting $200 a month from them, it's not going to be very difficult. It's not going to be the end of the world because I don't have to deliver the world to them, because I did not promise the world to them, because they were not paying me a shitload of money. I was still delivering a lot of value to them, but I was not charging a shitload of money from them. So yeah, I think I can maintain like a business which has a 20% churn rate. I think it's definitely viable. I think it's definitely possible as well. Okay, cool. Imagine I gave you a button or I gave you a contract which you could sign, and it says 12 months from now you get $19,600 in monthly recurring revenue in a bank account deposited without any single ounce of export. Do you think that will be a good deal? You probably said yes. I used to have a business earlier where I used to help like basically growth operator where I used to partner up with influencers and I used to help them create like paid communities and paid offerings. I basically went to them, they had their big audience 100,000, 200,000, 500, 600,000 followers, but they were just not monetizing it. So I used to create a recurring paid offering for them. I created a paid community. I created a funnel where they could send the viewers. I set up automations. So they would say, comment this word. The people would comment the word. Then they would go to the landing page. They would buy, and I would get like 20, 25% commission on the same. I created this business of growth operating, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of the times when I was on a sales call with the influencer or the creator, they never understood what I was trying to convey. They were like, Somil, you're making sense, but I don't think so. I can make a lot of money from my audience. And I always gave them this exact example. Do you think out of the hundreds and thousands of people who follow you, 10 people will pay you $200? And they always said yes. And I was like, do you think if you just add like 5 or like 10 new customers every single month for like 1 year, and even if you had a 20% churn rate, do you think that's possible? He was like, yes. I was like, that gives you like $19,600 at the end of 12 months from now. Do you think that's great? Completely passive income, which is paid to you every single month, even if 20% of your customers leave. And I was like, damn, bro, this is fucking dope. I had an extremely huge, enormous conversion rate without any case studies in that business because it made sense to them. And whenever I give this example, then it clicked for them because that sounds like an extremely huge number. But now we broke it down into small bite-sized chunks. It made sense. And what a lot of the successful people, the successful agencies, they're doing is they focus on recurring revenue. I mean, if you have a agency, a web development agency, I don't know how you can scale it. Because every time you need to increase your revenue, you have to get a new customer. And getting a new customer is hard. There are a fixed number of people in your niche who you can convert into customers. So is it not smart that they pay you every single month? You might be like, Somil, but I sell websites and they're not like, it does not make sense. If a website costs me like $3,000 to make and I'm charging them $5,000, I don't think so. It should take you like $3,000, whatever. But let's say you're charging $5,000. So I mean, it does not make sense for me to charge $5,000 a month because no website development agency is charging that. Yeah, you're absolutely correct about that. But can you create it in a system? Like, can you create a structure where you maybe charge like $3,000 upfront? And you're like, for the hosting, maintenance, and upgradation of the website in order to ensure it's always running smoothly, it's always SEO optimized, it's always loading fast. You pay me $200 or $300 a month. It does not sound like a lot. But we just did the math. 10 customers who do this, $20,000 in monthly recurring revenue. Close your eyes and imagine what an extra $20,000 could do for you. Maybe you can move to the place of your dreams. You can probably live in like any city in the world without breaking the bank. And this is not extra work. You're not doing anything. You just say, this is what I need. And you were going to do those things anyways. So your work has not increased. But you just created a recurring stream of income. And if you don't have predictability that even if I do nothing for the next 3 months, this much fixed amount of money is going to come, then do you really own a business? Why did you start this? So that you don't have to clock in and clock out. And I'm not saying in the beginning it's going to be completely passive. My business is not fully passive. Don't get me wrong. I'm not lying to you or saying and pretending to be someone I'm not. But I know for a certainty that every single action which I put into this machine, it's moving me a step closer towards the future where I don't have to work on it. Where it's fully automated, fully passive, and it does take time. But if you don't even have a base for recurring commissions or recurring payment setup where someone pays you every single month for the service, then that is something which can never be attained. Even if you think, Somil, yeah, bro, that supplement kind like Muscle Blaze owner does not have to work every single day, whatever crap. Muscle Blaze is a supplement type of business. And sure, they don't auto bill their customers. It's not like you buy a protein powder for like $40 and your card is billed every single month. But if the product is good, the customer will order the box of protein the next month as well, Because he's not going to be crazy and be like, yeah, bro, they gave me an awesome product and I'm not going to buy from them. That's also a recurring business. Netflix is a recurring business. But if you just have one off sales, like I've done that. I was so scared to charge like recurring prices because I think people would not buy and they would churn and leave. And because of that, I never even tried that. But once I did, it was pretty dope, man. I mean, the amount of effort it takes to sign a customer is exactly the same. So I put the same amount of effort and I was getting money every single week, every single month, without any extra work. And this creates a flywheel effect. You know, it just starts like this and this and this and this, and it snowballs. Because $200 a month does not sound like a lot, but it becomes $20,000. And I think I also wrote another thing, exponential revenue stacking, basically the same thing. Every single customer you add, it's increasing that revenue stack, which is there, which is paid to you, even if you don't sign or acquire any new customers. Now you might be wondering, Somil, what did you say new over here? Like my favorite guru told me to charge $2,000, $5,000 a month. Over there as well, I was charging this recurring revenue. You're not telling me anything new. So what did you do exactly over here? Well, I changed my pricing structure pretty drastically. And I got this inspiration from HubSpot. HubSpot, if you don't know, it's a very popular CRM, basically a customer report. I don't know what's the full form of fucking CRM is. Crazy, right? Like you have a known software which has a CRM and you don't even know what CRM means. I just know what it does. Basically, it's a platform where you can manage all of your leads, the people in your pipeline who might be interested in what you have to offer. And you can see who you have to follow up with, who has to pay an invoice, who has paid the invoice, who's a customer, who's a lead, blah, blah, blah. And you can obviously create a free account as well and try it. But they have a plan, something called the enterprise plan, which they sell to businesses. And in this plan, what they simply do is they charge a upfront fee. I'm not sure how much. My friend Shad Khan on Instagram, he was telling me I think $5,000 to $7,000. And after that, it's like a small retain. I don't know how much. I'm not an enterprise yet at that level, like 200, 300 employees that they reach out to me. Maybe soon in the future. But that's the business model which I thought, damn bro, this shit has to work. Because when you charge a higher upfront amount, it's very justifiable. Like if someone asks me for $1,000 every single month, that creates something known as subscription fatigue. And people are getting sick and tired of all these small subscriptions, one electricity bill, one that bill, that bill, that bill. But if someone asks me, just pay $1,000 months, and after that you can use the service for forever at a very affordable price. That's a very easy sale to make compared to asking like $5,000 every single month. You know what that also does? Is it takes the risk off your head. If you're charging a fixed high retainer every single month, like $2,000, $3,000 a month, then you have to be delivering services to them. You're basically held accountable. But if you're just being charged once, people don't expect you to give guarantees and shit because you're not charging a huge retainer every single month. And someone might be like, Somil, you say that we should give out guarantees. Yes. If you cannot deliver shit, like why the frick are you charging? But sometimes it depends on a lot of factors. If I'm doing everything, sure, the guarantee makes sense. But in this business, like HubSpot type of business where you're charging an upfront setup fee and a small retainer, because you're charging such a small retainer, obviously they have to do some work themselves as well. And if you don't have control over everything, you cannot be held accountable for the results. Because there's a concept of accountability and responsibility. Responsibility and authority. My bad. Meaning that if you have to be held responsible for the results, then you need authority over the actions which are being taken every single day. But if someone else has authority over the actions, if the person is taking the actions on his own, then you're not responsible because you don't control it, right? Accountability and responsibility, same thing. If you're accountable for the results which are being produced, then you should be responsible for the same. And for responsibility, you need basically authority to tell people what to do, to take the fucking decisions. If you're not taking the decisions, people cannot be like, yeah, bro, how did I get fat? because you're not held accountable for the same because they ate the shitty food. But if you are the one who's in charge of putting the food from the plate in his mouth and you did it with your own hand, now you're fucking held accountable because you put the food in his mouth. But if he's stuffing his face with pizza every single day and he gets fat, that's his fucking fault, right? And I'm pretty sure you don't like dealing with those retarded customers who're like, yeah, oh my god, my world is ending. Please give me a freaking refund and shit. So not only does charging a higher upfront amount, it not only removes the need of giving out refunds and dealing with these shitty freaking customers, it's a very easy sale to make as well because you're charging a very low retainer. And it might not be very low. Like a quick example, someone might be like, Somil, I'll just charge like $200 a month instead of charging the upfront fee. It's going to be an even easier sale. I'll be held less accountable, blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you why that's a terrible strategy. You know, when I first started SaaS, software as a service, I started to approach dentists and I used to sell it to them for like 7,000 or like 14,000 rupees. Like somewhere between that, like maybe 9,000, 8,000, around $100 to $200 a month. And they used to think it's extremely expensive because I was selling it as a software when I was supposed to be selling software as a service. Service basically means the end result. I was not selling the end result, I was selling a software, which made them think like, bro, 14,000 rupees a month is extremely huge for a freaking software. And I was thinking, damn, bro, like, why the frick is this so freaking hard? And when I moved to this model, no one has ever complained to me that $100 a month is a lot of money because they're comparing it with the initial setup fee, the initial upfront amount we're charging, $1,000, $2,000. And now it appears extremely minuscule. So that's another benefit. People don't think your retainer is expensive. And if they think your retainer is not expensive and it's extremely fucking affordable, they don't cancel. My churn rate is extremely low, man, by God's grace, touch wood. It's extremely low. And these are the benefits. If you focus on creating recurring revenue, you get the benefit of stacking fucking revenue. Your income grows exponentially, you get fucking passive income, which is all what we fucking want, because I think someone might be like, passive income is bad, blah, blah, blah. Bro, money is not real. And I don't want to slave away, give precious hours of my life after this fucking money when it's not real. I'm here to live a good fucking life. I don't give a shit about money. I give a shit about having a good life, and money is a stepping stone towards that life. I hope that makes sense. Because yeah, if you want to make the absolute highest amount of money, sure, go ahead. Do not listen to this. But I'm assuming you care about the quality of your life as well. And if you're not aligned in this, I totally understand. Both of us might have different visions and values for this. So maybe I'm not the right person to listen to. But this is what I'm doing because this helps me in my freaking goal. The upfront amount, this is another point I wrote. It covers the CAC. CAC is basically the cost to acquire a customer. So maybe you're spending a lot of money, especially if you're running ads. You cannot be selling a low ticket subscription because then it simply won't cover your ad spend. And you want cash flow as well, right? So that you have money to freaking invest. You want money coming into the business. And the benefit of charging these expensive retainers is that you get a lot of cash flow and you get a lot of money. And we want something similar to that. And that's why you charge the higher upfront amount. So basically, if you did not understand, like, recurring revenue is extremely important because it builds your passive income and it grows exponentially. And the best strategy for the same is to charge a higher upfront amount where you basically set it up everything, which means after the basically the period for which you charge like the upfront amount ends, maybe you charge it for 30 days, 60 days. 60 days is a very easy sale. I like to do it for 30 days, but 60 days is an extremely easy sale. My ex-partner who I used to partner up with, he recently signed a client for like $1,000, $2,000 upfront amount and a small retainer of $100, $200 a month after, how much I'm not really sure, after like 60 days. So it's a very easy sale. Telling someone, yeah, you're going to be charged after 60 days compared to 30. You can do that. I prefer 30 because I like having more cash flow into the business. That's totally up to you. And because we're charging this huge upfront amount, the retainer looks very small, which means people don't have a problem with it. And at the same time, churn is very low because it's not like a lot. Like if you had to pay $1 every single month. Like, I have a subscription in school. There's this community called the Community Campfire, and it charges me like $2 a month. I'm just too fucking lazy to cancel it. I don't even use it. I don't even log into the community, but it's just like, it's $2, bro. Like, I don't want to fucking go and fucking manually cancel it out. It's not worth my fucking time or some shit. And yeah, that's the effect you have on other people's mind. And what $2 is for me might be the same. Like, $200 is the same for a person who's making 100 times more than me. Like, what $2 is for me is exactly the value attributed to $200 by someone who's at a level of income 100 times more than me, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's not a lot of money. And if people look at your service that way, then I don't think so you're gonna have cancellations and churns. One last objection which might be in your head. Somil, cool. It makes sense. You're saying that I should be doing this, blah blah blah, making passive income. But how can my income be passive if I have to work for the service delivery? Because sure, I might charge the money and everything, but after that, it just becomes extremely difficult. Like, I still have to do some work. And that's the issue. If you have to do the work, like, sure, if you're charging something upfront, you're charging an upfront payment, and you have to set some things up for a person, that's totally cool. That's totally understandable. But if you've basically set up all the things for which you receive the money, and after that, every single month you have to work on it, that's an issue. You need to productize a service. And productization basically means you press one button and the same service can be replicated for like hundreds of people with zero extra effort from your end. I'll give you a very simple example. Let's say I was still in that growth operating business niche, whatever. If I was selling inbound lead generation systems, basically, you know, these coaches, they say like, comment this word, DM me this word, reply to the story with this word. And they then convert you into a lead and then they sell you shit. So basically, if I was selling this system, I went to coaches. Like, I've not done this business personally, but a lot of people who use my platform, the SalesGen platform, they do it. So if I was targeting coaches, if I was targeting people in my niche and everything, and my niche was coaches, and I wanted to sell them a lead generation system which guaranteed that we double the leads in the next 90 days or something like that, what I would do is I would create a template in ManyChat. That's a very popular software. Like, I use my own software that also has abilities for the same, and you get like unlimited usage at no extra charge. But ManyChat charges you like every single time you basically, like, ManyChat will charge you more money than my platform. So I use my own platform. And I mean, why not? We have access to AI as well to converse with the leads. But let's say you go to ManyChat for simplicity purposes, because many people understand ManyChat. You go to ManyChat, you create a template for the system, like whenever someone comments this, blah, 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 then this automation starts. You create that template in ManyChat. Now, whenever you sign a new client, you just need to click one button and you need to duplicate that template. And you just have to connect the Instagram account of that person, and everything else stays the same. Now, it might take you like 5 to 10 minutes to change some messages up based on the coach or whatever you're targeting. It might take like a couple of minutes to set everything up. But once it's ready, it's working 24/7 without any extra effort from your end. And if you sign another client, it just takes 5 to 10 extra minutes. And every single month, your people are going to be using that. Your niche, your coaches, they will use it. But you don't have to work extra for the same. And they're thinking, bro, this is so affordable, just $200, and I get like 1,000 leads every single week. They're happy. You're happy. So if you don't have a productized service, I'm sorry, it might not work for you. And this is a topic I'd like to cover in depth. So if you do want a video on it, just let me know. That's literally the meta I've noticed. People focus on creating recurring revenue. They charge a higher upfront amount as setup fee, and they sell something kind of low ticket, like $100 to $500 a month. This destroys churn. Like, churn is non-existent, and it keeps on increasing their revenue, their passive income, so that they can enjoy life and build the business of their fucking dreams. But you cannot do it unless you have a productized fucking service. That's all I had to say. Take care, man. Have a beautiful, lovely, fantastic day ahead. Lot of cool shit in the description. Just go and check it out. Bye, man.